Then, as we right now know what is risk and then how to do the risk management plan, let's go on and look at what are the typical risk categories in IT projects. So this is this slide. You can see it's just not applicable for IT project, but it can be applicable for any project. You can see at a very high level, you have the technical risks, external, which are not part of the project. You can also see the risks associated with project management, and finally, organization risks. To give an example, so when it comes to technical risks, requirements, when I say requirements, not necessarily business requirements, the technical requirements. Somebody says that the website has to be, the web page has to come within 1 second. And then we can always say that there is a probability if the number of users are more than 500, there is a probability that the website will take more than 1 minute, or sorry, not 1 minute, 1 second. So that is the risk. I'm not going to go through all the things, but this is going to give you one very high level view on how risk management can happen. In simple terms, this is called RBS, which is risk breakdown structure. RBS also got one more name which we use in project management terminology, which is called resource breakdown structure. Don't get further about both the names. Here it is risk breakdown structure. If you know, there is one more term called work breakdown structure, which we use pretty much in scope management. That is used to really break down the requirements into smaller chunks. Here also it's very similar. As you saw here, under technology, under technical rather, you saw the requirements. In fact, requirements can also go under project management, because under project management you might also end up doing the business requirement capture. We can also see something called external, which is mostly we would not have much of control as a project manager. We would not have much of control, which is the supplier or the vendor. Regulatory typically comes from the government organizations. Government might say that suddenly it might come with some new rule or the law which says that okay, we will not be able to do this. Market conditions, as I said, recession, right? There is one of the market condition where we do not have much of control. Whether obviously none of us in this world have any control there. So just remember, this is just a tool which would help you to really understand and then analyze the risks. Let me take you through the next slide. As there is high probability that you are working in IT industry, I try to put some of the risks that typically I came across as part of IT projects. The first one is the technical environment. As you know, I'm sure you would agree that technical environment in IT industry is going to be never stable. So a person has to really identify what are the different ways the IT environment might go down, and then how do they come back. So that is important. Information security in this particular time of the world, it is very important that we secure our information. When I say information security, it's just not the data, even related to the infrastructure or our passwords, everything that would really play a major role. Sometimes programming logic might produce some risks. What I mean by that is, say, if you're trying to code something, an array which would occupy, let's say, 999 variables, and then suppose obviously there is a probability or there is a risk that tomorrow, if our organization is going to more than that particular value, there is a probability that the program is going to fail. So that is important thing. And when it comes to infrastructure, also is going to pose a lot of risks to the organization. Infrastructure also brings many security risks, and then when I say infrastructure, any risk related to the data center, the ability for the infrastructure to support organization growth, all those things are going to come into picture. And the technology itself can pose as risk. What I mean by this is, suppose if you are using one technology, and then say, suppose if you are using Java today, there is no guarantee that Java is going to be available for lifelong, and then somebody might find innovative ways to induce some bugs or some viruses into Java coding. So versus that is, while this is one risk, there is also probability that suppose if your organization, all the systems are into Java, tomorrow there is going to be one more beautiful language is going to come, and then your organization may not be even ready to adapt to the new technology. So especially when I was a fresher, I used to always get this dilemma. If you take a typical organization, you will find they will have many databases, something like Oracle, SQL Server, DB2, IMSDB, and then when it comes to programming languages, COBOL, Java, C, C++, and .NET, all this. So I always wondered why an organization would look at so many languages. Why can't everybody use COBOL and then DB2? So later on I realized that I think dependence on one single language, it's going to be a real threat to the organization, because let's say tomorrow whoever is supporting COBOL or DB2, they would say that yeah, my organization is getting closed, I'm not going to do any more developments in the particular language or the database. Then organization has to really suffer. Finally, the technical architecture. There are a lot of kind of architectures. However, the purpose of the session is not to discuss the architecture, but it is going to pose a threat, because an architecture ideally should be in a position to it should be flexible enough to accommodate the newer request or the newer technical solutions. If it is not, then the architecture is going to collapse. So these are a few risks I discussed related to the IT project, and then now we know how to what is risk definition, how to do the risk management planning. I also discussed with you how the risk can be categorized. Now let's go to how to identify the risks. So this is important thing. Till now whatever we did was mainly the strategy. Now